Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. I'm really glad to be back. Thank you so much for your patience as I recovered from pneumonia. so I'm back. I may cough a little bit today, but we'll see how this goes. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I'm the senior minister here at the Oasis. And I always like to introduce the team that God has provided me. So let me start with my faithful assistant, Faith, who has been my assistant since basically, well, I can't really say that you were 3 weeks old when you became my assistant because you were actually your dad's assistant, but whatever. He brought her to church when she was 3 weeks old, and he would work the soundboard with one hand and hold Faith in the other hand. And when she got old enough to crawl up on stage, she became my assistant because she acted like she deserved to be up there. So we left her up there. I had a portable mic at those times, so I could just step over her, and then we'd put her on the podium to do the announcements. And I think people paid more attention to the announcements because she was so cute. But anyway, excuse me. Her dad was a tow truck driver, and she lived about 6 blocks from my house. So when he would go on out-of-town tows, he would drop the girls at my house. And I have a project house. I've always got projects going on. And so I got a chance to see how Faith worked. And so when she was 14 and a half and announced that she wanted a real job, I said, okay, come work for me at my ozone company. So she was my assistant for several years until the pandemic. And then, and was the best assistant I've had. I've had 3 of them. And she was the best assistant that I've ever had. And then we went live for the pandemic, and I asked her if she wanted to be my ministerial assistant. And she said yes. So here we are. And she is the woman behind the scenes, kind of like in The Wizard of Oz. You pull back the curtain and you see an old man. Well, in this case, you see Faith. She does everything behind the scenes. So all I have to do really is talk, press a few buttons here and there, but really just talk. As a matter of fact, when we're in a facility, I can look out and see the faces shining back at me, and I get that feedback. Here, I don't get even a name. I just get a number. So we ask that you say hi, hello, good morning, however you want to greet us, and then Faith will answer you as me. And she basically knows me better than I know myself at this point. And so I guess there's only been 2 times I've had to add something in 4 years. Only because, maybe she didn't see the question, or it was a question that she didn't feel like she could answer. So I go back and check every time. But anyway, so she is the woman behind the scenes, and she is our soloist. And I have no idea what she's singing today. She told me it would be a surprise. So what are you singing?
We are singing Healed, Whole, and Healthy by Karen Drucker. Yeah.
By Karen Drucker. You know what CD that's on?
Songs of Spirit, too. My favorite, of course.
I know, mine too. I love that CD. I love all of her Songs of Spirit, though, because they all have like affirmation songs, basically. They're chants, but they're affirmation songs. So, all right. Thank you for being here, darling. I love you. All right. And then my partner in crime, the wise and powerful Oz, who has been with me since 1998, basically. He was my first baby practitioner, and then became my board president for many years, and then moved off to Florida, and we lost the ability to have him in our service with us. And when the pandemic hit and I said, hey, how'd you like to be practitioner of the day? And he said, sure. I don't think he realized it was going to be every Sunday for his life.
5 years so far.
I know, right? Yeah. And so, but thankfully he stepped up, and we couldn't do this without him or Faith. So thank you for being here, Oz. He is our practitioner of the day, which means he does the invocation and the benediction, and he's available at the end for our 1-minute miracle. And I'll talk more about that later. But anyway, I love you. Okay. Let's see. There's a watch party button. It's been a few weeks since I've done this, so I'm a little out of practice. There's a watch party button that you can click on that will allow you to invite all of your friends so they can see what kind of service they can expect to see on Sundays. And you can talk amongst yourselves because it's a private chat. So you can answer any questions that they may have. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
The presence of God is always right here and right now, for God, as we conceive of it, is all that is. In all things, as all things, for all time, in all places. And this greater unity means that we are immersed in a sea of that great being. It is who we are. It is all that we experience. It is all each of us ever can accomplish, is all within that greater body that we consider and call God. We know that that presence is right here, right now, in each and every one of us, and we give thanks for the blessings that it bestows. The very existence of life, the continued maintenance of life, and the continuous evolution into greater and better things, all within this great body of God. And for being part of that, we give great thanks. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. Okay, so this next song is one that Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver wrote during her practitioner training. And it's a great reminder that we are all connected. So if you know the words, sing it loud and sing it proud, because you can't bother anybody. And if you don't know the words, let them just connect with you so that it becomes a meme in your mind. Okay, here we go.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is all there is. Grateful am I to be living, open to what I receive, honoring what I've been given, sharing now what I believe. I remember the oneness around me. I surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one.
Oh, yes, we are all one in it. By the way, I want to shout out to Faith. The last 2 weeks, when I take time off, she does not get to take time off. She works overtime. And so, she's the one that guided the whole process of the reruns and everything else. So thank you so much, Faith. I really appreciate it. I don't know what I'd do without you, honestly. Okay, so first I forgot to introduce our adjunct music team. Reverend Fairy Lane Silver was the first to ask us to do her music on our live Sundays. And then there's Karen Drucker, who gifted us with her entire collection. At that time was 20 CDs worth of material, both karaoke files and songbooks. So we'd have the lyrics and just everything. And we would not be able to do a church service on Sunday with music without those two ladies. So I really want to put a shout out to them. Also, we have our singer from the past, Albertina Giuffre, better known as Tina, who comes and does our, she calls them the crying season, which is Mother's Day, Father's Day, and Memorial Day. And so, and then she also shows up for Christmas time. So I also like to put a shout out to her because she steps in for us and gives Faith a little bit of a break. That's the only breaks I seem to be able to give her because I don't have anybody to do what she does. So thank you again. All right. So if you're just joining us, say hi, hello, good morning, however you want to greet us. When we're in a facility, I can look out and see the shining faces beaming back at me. Here, I don't even get names. I just get a number. So it's helpful to know who our audience is. So by all means, say that. And then if you drop by later, just say hi. Just let me know you were here. It's nice to know who dropped by, especially our people from Europe and India and all those places. It's really nice to hear from you. If you like something that you hear, whether that's something I say, Faith sings, or Oz prays, use the like button. And if you love something, send us love. Send us hearts. I can't make the heart today. Something's happened to my brain. I don't know what. And if you, if something really strikes a chord, like I'm really on target, by all means, use that wow button. It gives me the feedback that I need to know when I'm on track. So please do that. All right. Without further ado, here is Faith singing Healed, Whole, and Healthy by Karen Drucker.
I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am blessed and visualized. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well. I am well. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I accept and visualize. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well. I am well. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I accept and I receive. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well. I am well. I am well. I am healed, whole, and healthy. Angels are watching over me. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well. I am well. Heal, whole, heal, whole, heal, whole, well. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I got love surrounding me. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well. I am well. I am well. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I've got love surrounding me. I am healed, whole, and healthy. I am well. I am well. I am well. All is well. All is well. I am well. Healed, whole, healed, whole, I am whole. All is well. Healed, whole, I am well. All is well. All is well. I am all is well. All is well. I am well.
Thank you, sweetie. That is such a good song. I was trying to sing along, and that's the bad thing to do right now. I started coughing. So I just mouthed the words after that. But I could sure use that song. I should probably try to sing it. We'll see. Thank you. All right. So we have been doing the Back to Basics series that we do every January and sometimes in September. The Back to Basics is really the first four chapters of our textbook. And it is the thing itself, which we say is God. And the way it works through love and law. And what it does, which is allow us to be in integrity with what we say, think, and do. And it allows us to be the same person on the street that we are when we're doing spiritual practices, right? And so the how to use it is all the spiritual practices. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. But I'm going to do a quick recap. Like I said, the thing itself is God. And the way it works is love and law. Now, our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, followed a man named, all of a sudden I can't think of his name, Judge Thomas Troward, who was an English judge, a Christian English judge in India. And he started studying the Hindu religion because he wanted, when he passed judgment on people, he wanted to take into account their beliefs and their practices and the culture and everything. And as he was studying that, he realized that there were spiritual laws that were common to both Christianity and Hinduism. And so he started writing about spiritual laws. And Dr. Ernest Holmes found his works and started traveling around the country, which was no small feat in like 1927, right? Started traveling around the country lecturing about spiritual law. And then he ran into a woman named Emma Curtis Hopkins, who studied with Mary Baker Eddy in Christian Science. And then they had a falling out, and she went on to, she left and went on to form an organization, a school really for mysticism. And it was there that Dr. Holmes discovered the love of God. And so the way it works is that there are spiritual laws that we can use. We do use them, but we can use them consciously. And the love of God, which is an unconditional love that is in and through and around us, that we can never be alone. And all of this works the same, whether we are black, white, purple, yellow, red, whatever our skin color is, whatever our gender is, whatever our orientation is. it doesn't matter because the law doesn't care. The law is the same for everyone. And the same thing with love. God loves us without any exception, without any choosing one over the other. So the way it works is through love and law. And what it does is it allows us to live our lives in such a way that we can accomplish many things. We can co-create with God. We can live in our integrity, meaning that my words and my thoughts and my beliefs are the same as what I portrayed to the outside world, right? And so living in integrity gives us peace, and it allows us to be in harmony with the universe, okay? And so that's what it does. Now, how to use it is our spiritual practices. So we're going to start with affirmations. Now, one of the reasons that I always point out the mala beads from Brooks and Bailey is because they say that if you do 100 affirmations a day, it allows your brain to create deeper grooves. Now, let me explain that for real quickie. My oldest brother, had a stroke many years ago. I think it was 2000. And it started in the left brain, crossed over midbrain into the right brain. And we just happened to have a good friend who was like one of a handful of people in the world who started out to be a doctor and was like one class away from her MD. And she decided she didn't want to be a doctor after all. So she became a speech pathologist. And so people paid her to go all over the world and consult. There's maybe 5 or 6 people in the world with her training. And so we called her in to consult on his case. And she started talking as she was reviewing the MRIs and explaining to us what happened to his brain. She said the brain starts out kind of smooth, like it doesn't have any crevices in it. And over time, when you repeat something over and over again, it creates a groove in the brain. And when that groove happens, your synapses fire quicker. This was all in an explanation to say that she could teach his right brain to take over from the left brain's ability to communicate and that kind of thing. But during that process of her explaining it, I had this really big aha about that's why affirmations work. And she said, absolutely, you are correct. And I was like, oh gosh, okay, that explains it. Well, if you do 100 affirmations a day, it creates that deeper groove that allows the synapses to fire quicker. And what that means in terms of your life is that your brain, your mind, starts to believe what you're impressing upon it, which is the affirmations. Now, affirmations are something that you do in the present tense. It's not the past tense, like it's already happened. Or you can say it in the past tense, actually, but you don't want to like make it sound like it was way past. And it's definitely not in the future. So when you're doing affirmations, you say, I am healed, whole, and healthy now, right? Not I have been healed, whole, and healthy, or I will be healed, whole, and healthy. I am healed, whole, and healthy now. So that was a perfect song for me to use that. It works whether you're talking about finances or you're talking about relationships or you're talking about your health. All of these things work regardless of the issue, okay? So we start out with affirmations, 100 a day. And if something comes up to counteract that in your mind, then you change that affirmation to conquer whatever came up against it. Okay, so that's affirmations. The next thing is meditation, and there's a reason I'm doing them in this order. In meditation, it's not as big a thing as people make it out to be, right? Ram Dass, meditating in his temple when he was a monk, decided that it wasn't useful to him to be in a temple to meditate, that he felt like to truly know whether he was good at meditation or not, he would have to go somewhere like the streets of New York City and sit on a street corner and meditate. So he did just that to prove to himself that meditation can be done anywhere. And I say that knowing full well that you can't do it while you're driving, obviously. You don't want to be in an altered state while you're driving. That's the only exception, really. It can be done in the line at the grocery store. If you're like me, you get impatient standing there waiting. Although the lines are not as long these days, but you can do it, in a setting like is proposed by Buddhists and Hindus, where you sit, and you do mudras with your fingers in a certain state, sitting up straight, cross-legged. You could do that, but you don't have to. You can do walking meditations. One of my friends, my massage therapist, actually for 29 years, gave us a workshop where we did an eating meditation. And basically she prepared all these foods and you were able to take one spoonful of it, put it in your mouth. You had to hold it in your mouth as you thought about all of the things that it took to get to the table for you to be able to put it in your mouth. Then you could chew it up and swallow, and then you'd go to another food and do the same thing. You can do meditation while you're brushing your teeth. You can do meditation right before you go to sleep, which is actually the best time to do it. My preference for meditation is two places. One is in my bathtub. I close all the lights, or I turn off all the lights. I still use that reference my dad used to use. He was born in 1913. And so it was closing the lights. It wasn't turning them on and off. Anyway, I turn off all the lights. I light a candle and I just sit in the nice hot water and just remember who I am. I remember that I have a relationship with God because God flows in and through and around me. And once I'm through with my meditation, I go into treatment, which I'll talk about here in just a moment. The second place that is my favorite in the summertime, actually late spring, summer, and early fall, is to sit on my front porch because I have all these trees and flowers and everything all around me. And it's perfect to meditate there. I feel the breeze. I hear the shimmering of the leaves. It enhances all of your senses. So you begin to hear and feel things that you normally would kind of block out because your life is so busy. So meditation allows us to jump to center, is what we call it with the practitioners. And 9/11, we did a ceremony, and the first thing I said was, okay, practitioners, jump to center. And as I explain that to people, what that means is that if I'm all prayed up, if I've been meditating and I've been doing my affirmations and I've been using all the tools in my spiritual toolkit, it's really easy for me to find my center because we're cultivating a relationship with the God within us. That's what meditation is for me. And so meditation is one of the spiritual tools we use to be in that relationship with God. Okay. Now, the reason I'm doing it in this order is because treatment is our form of affirmative prayer. And the first step is mostly like meditation. We say that first step is recognition. And it's recognition of that powerful presence that lives within us, that surrounds and enfolds us, that God is simply all there is. There couldn't be two entities that opposed each other. Otherwise, they'd cancel each other out. And if there was a devil who was more powerful than God, then we wouldn't see any good in the world, right? So we know that there can't be another power. So we say God is simply all there is, all there ever has been, all there ever will be, only God. Okay? The next step is called unification. Another form of meditation where I unify myself with that indwelling presence, where I recognize for myself that that is truly who and what I am. I'm not all of God, but God is all I am. And as we recognize all of that and unify with that, if we're doing prayer for someone else, that's the opportunity to unify them as well. So we know the truth about them as being one in that powerful essence of God. And that's the meditation part of our prayer. The third step is called recognition, and that is an affirmation. Now, the first two steps we're going to spend, a lot of time in. When I teach my students, I say, when you're writing them, a half a page on recognition and unification. And then 1 or 2 sentences for the recognition. Again, staying in the present moment. I am healed, whole, and healthy right now. That is the truth about me in this moment. Okay? That would be the recognition step. And then they call Dr. Ernest Holmes called it Thanksgiving. I like gratitude, but it doesn't fit into the RUTR thing. But it is, Thanksgiving is the step where we express gratitude. We don't pick up the issue. We express gratitude that this is done. And if you're praying for someone else, I always say, and for being in service this way. But you only want 1 or 2 sentences for it. And whatever it takes to evoke that feeling of gratitude in you. And then the final step is release. And so when you're doing the release part of it, Dr. Fred Vogt, one of my mentor ministers, used to say, you don't plant a seed in the soil, water it, and fertilize it, go in the house, and then come back out in 5 minutes and dig it back up to see if it's working. But we do that with prayer a lot of the times. It's been 5 minutes. It hasn't worked yet. What's wrong, right? And so it's very important that we release and let it go. And so our favorite phrase for that is, and so it is. I always follow up with amen, because we have a lot of people that were taught prayer that way, that the ending of a prayer is amen. So I like to honor that in everyone who's viewing. So again, we do recognition, unification, recognition, thanksgiving, and release. Doesn't mean that if it pops back into your mind, you don't do another treatment. But we call it spiritual mind treatment because we are treating our minds to vibrate at the frequency of God. Okay? We are actually treating our mind instead of praying to some source out here that is going to change something for us. We don't believe in a rescue 911 God, meaning that, we don't like, hey, God, I need your help. Okay, let me put my sneakers on. I'll be right down. That's not the kind of God we believe in. The kind of God we believe in is one of free will. So if we choose to do something, we are going to suffer the consequences of what we have done. But God is always there providing a yes answer to anything we want, right? So the delay is not in God itself. God's already provided it. The delay is in us for beliefs that contradict that, for thoughts that invade the space, so to speak. Abraham Hicks, which is a channeled entity of, I can't think of her name, Esther Hicks, talks about it in such a way that it's like there is a, what does she call it? Vortex. There's a vortex and everything is swimming around us. And as long as we are in the vortex, everything we've asked for is already there. Because she, as Abraham Hicks describes it, anytime we have a desire, we shoot off a rocket of desire and the universe starts to work on that. And we only confuse it by having contradictory thoughts, right? Or shooting off other rockets of desire that contradict that first rocket of desire. And so it's really important for us to maintain that integrity, right? So when we do treatment and we release it, we allow ourselves to be in the vortex, meaning we are absolutely open to that which is already, God has already said yes to, the universe has already provided us. And so we need to stay calm and be in harmony and do our meditation practice so that we enter into that vortex, and everything that we have co-created with God is now available, and that is where we receive it. Then I want to talk a little bit about visioning and visualization, because those are also spiritual tools in our toolkit. One is visualization, is where I have an outcome that I would like to see, feel, hear, know. And I focus my attention on that goal exclusively to everything else. So I have visualization sessions like I have meditation sessions. And in the visualization, that's been used for actors and celebrities and successful business people, athletes for many, many years. And so you visualize not necessarily a picture, but, a feeling or a knowingness, or you might hear something. I don't know. I'll talk about that in a minute too. But in visualization, what we're doing is actively seeing that outcome, or hearing that outcome, or feeling that outcome. Okay. And we do that in sessions so that what we have visualized comes about. Okay. A little like affirmations, except this is a more, instead of saying affirmations or writing affirmations, we are actually getting in the physical state of experiencing it. That's different from visioning. Visualization is an active practice, and visioning is a receptive practice, meaning that I am now open to a picture that's larger than what I can see as a human doing, to the vision that God has for my life. Now, I don't know how many of you remember Maitland did this movie called What the Heck Do We Know? And in it, she's watching this basketball player dribble a ball. And she only sees that one ball. And then she turns her back to the guy, and all of a sudden, all these balls go flying everywhere. And then she turns back and she only sees the one ball. And that talks about how there's endless possibilities, endless options with God, right? God sees everything from a vantage point, almost like everything, and we only see this much because that's all we are open to. So when we're doing visioning, what we're doing is we're opening to God's vision for our lives. We do this practice collectively at the end of each quarter. But it is something that you can do on your own. You start out with 3 questions. Well, I start out with meditation first. And I get myself into that state of unconditional love. But once I'm there, I ask myself 3 important questions. One is, what is God's vision for my life? Now, you can limit that by prosperity. You can limit that by health. You can limit that by relationship. Or you can just stay open to whatever God has in store for you for that. We do every quarter. So we say, what is God's vision for me in this next quarter? Or this next year. At the end of the year, we always do a visioning for the coming year. So we ask, what is God's vision for my life? And then we ask, because you cannot have that which you have not become, what must I become in order to be a channel through which God's vision manifests, right? What spiritual principle do I need to embody? So you can't have love if you are not love. You cannot have financial prosperity if you are not financial prosperity. So the object is to get information from the God self within us about how or what we need to become. What do we need to focus our attention on? And then the third question is, what must I release in order to become that vessel through which God's vision can manifest? And I always add one question, and that is, What else do I need to know? Because sometimes it's more information than just like, what must I become? And what must I release? It could be, what are some next steps I need to take to get to that? Or it could be, what else do I need to consider in all of this? And so I always add that at the end. But the 3 questions that are standard in visioning are, what is God's vision for me? What must I become in order to be a vessel through which that vision manifests? And what must I release in order to become that? Okay. So those are the ways that we use this teaching, but also we use the spiritual laws of God and the unconditional love of God. That's how we co-create with God. And anytime we are less than satisfied with something in our life, we can use any one of those tools or all of those tools to come to a different reality, to co-create with God, to create a reality that we are satisfied with. So that's the point of all of this. Using these spiritual tools to become, or to have your life become, a better reality. Let's have a prayer. Right now, I just turn my awareness to the infinite power, the infinite presence, the infinite life of God, to that place within me that knows beyond human understanding just how powerful, how beautiful, how loving, how amazing God is. God is all there ever has been, all there ever will be, and all there is right here, right now. And that is where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very essence, my very life, my very being. For it is who and what I am. And every thought, every act, every deed is guided and led by that ancient wisdom of the ages that flows through. And I know that it flows through me. As I know that it flows through all of the members of God's team. For we are all one in it, as it flows through us and guides and leads us. That same ancient wisdom of the ages flows through all of us. And we are guided and led by that. So I know this to be true as well for anyone who is viewing this, whether that's in real time or later on. For that same ancient wisdom of the ages flows through all of us. We are one in it, as it. Mitakuye Oyasin, all my brethren, we are related. And so right now, I bless this coming week with results from our spiritual practices, with opportunities to practice easily and effortlessly. That as we do our spiritual practices this week, we are rewarded with a much better reality. I know the same truth to be so for every name that is in the ministry of prayer today, because I do know that that same force of God is underneath all of the challenges we experience. That if we drop into that state of mind where God lives, it dissolves those challenges back into the nothingness from which it came. So I pull back the veil right here, right now. And I expose that infinite power, that infinite presence here in this moment. I bless their week with an awareness of that presence operating through their lives, challenges. And so my heart just fills with gratitude to know that this is so, as I claim it as good and very good in their names. And I just let it be. And so it is. Amen.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world.
Okay, thank you. Now is our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to express your gratitude for that which you have received in the physical realm, or perhaps what you have created in the mind of God but have not yet experienced in the physical realm. Remember, it's like 5 minutes, hasn't happened. Yeah, we're not going to go there. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to go. Just a minute. I'm trying not to cough. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to go with me to www.oasiscsl.org. And about 2/3 down the page is an offering affirmation that I'm going to have you say with me. And then underneath that is a Contribute Now button. So let me talk just briefly about contribution, what you're contributing to. When we're in a facility, we have rent and utilities and all these costs associated with a facility that we don't have here. So here, the only costs we have are paying my assistant, Faith, and marketing our vision. So, or marketing for our vision. We have a vision of a healed world, and our mission is to heal the world one person at a time. And this is global. So the only way to reach people is by marketing. And that does cost money, unfortunately. We already have people viewing from India, the Philippines, I can't even remember all the places, Germany, UK, the Netherlands or Holland. But we want to try and reach everywhere. So when you are contributing, what you are doing is you are contributing to our mission for us to reach our vision. So right now, go with me to www.oasiscsl.org, whether that's in real time or you're visiting later on. You can go and say this offering affirmation with me. It's about 2/3 down the page. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive. And so it is. All right. Hit that Contribute Now button and help us get to our vision through our mission. Hang on a second. I got to put the dog down. She's fidgeting. There we go. Sorry, I have a rib out from all the coughing. What was I going to say? So the first announcement we have is Brooks and Bailey. They have a line of jewelry. These two ladies are beautiful jewelry. And the jewelry that I always focus on is the mala beads, because the Buddhists and the Hindus use them they move one bead at a time and say their chants. So I say this is a great way to do your 100 affirmations. There's 108 beads on the necklace, 54 on the bracelets. This is the amethyst one, which is $60. There's other gemstones that are $30 and up for the necklaces. And I believe the bracelets are 15, 20, or 25. I can't remember now. But Brooks and Bailey can be reached through Brooks and Bailey 0307 at Gmail or on their Facebook page. And all the proceeds go to Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue, which is a very worthy cause. Sorry. And so whenever they have a booth at some event, I always try to share their posting so that we get it to you so you can go down and visit them and see the jewelry firsthand. They have wonderful, they have a bracelet that has a circle with a bar that goes through it. And I lose bracelets like crazy. And the thing has only come off of me once in 4 years or 5 years, whatever it's been. So definitely check these ladies out. We have this wonderful team of licensed practitioners from coast to coast who serve our church in 3 different ways. One is by doing spiritual mind treatment every day for a week for any requests that we receive. So if you would like treatment for something, by all means, put it in the comment section. If you don't want it to be public, you can DM Faith and she will make sure our God Squad gets it. We call them the God Squad because I had this image back in 1998 of the practitioners walking in and taking charge. So we call them the God Squad. But if you don't want it to be public, you can DM Faith and she will make sure that the God Squad gets your prayer requests. And they will pray every day on those for a week. So take advantage of this. The second way they serve our church is by providing spiritual guidance sessions by appointment for a fee. You reach out to, at this point, it's only Oz. We kept hoping there would be other practitioners that would step in. We haven't had any that want to be with us for our vision. Let's put it that way. So anyway, reach out to him. Let him know that you would like a session for spiritual guidance. He will let you know how to pay for it. I don't get involved in any of that. Every practitioner has their own business, and so they determine which payment method they're going to use, whether that's Cash App or Venmo or Wise or PayPal, or I can't remember that one that I just did for Bangladesh. Anyway, I think it's World International or something like that. Anyway, every practitioner has their own business, so they determine that. So reach out to him. He will let you know how to pay for it, and then he will contact you by video chat at the appointed time. So definitely take advantage of that, because that is very powerful to have someone pray for you until you can see the truth yourself. And then the third way that they serve our church is what Oz does every Sunday, and that is practitioner of the day, meaning he does the invocation, the benediction, and at the end he's available for what we call our 1-minute miracle. It's not a time for counseling, but it is a time where you can share with him whatever challenge you're experiencing, and he will stop, drop, and pray with you right then and there. Okay? I think that's it. Isn't that it? Oh, yes. Thank you. I swear. I hope I get my brain back. Again, Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver asked us, was the first to ask us to use her music in the service. So we definitely like to support those who support us. Unfortunately, she can't change her website to tell you how to pay for it. And she travels around the country singing and playing guitar. So she carries the CDs in the trunk of her car. And so you contact her through email that you can find on her website. And, first select what CD you want. She has a lot of really good stuff. And then let her know that you would like to purchase it, and she'll tell you how to pay for it. And she's very good at making sure she gets it out right away. So you can definitely get what you want, and quickly. The other one is Karen Drucker, whose website does work, and you can buy it by the song, by the CD, by the karaoke file. She even has songbooks, so you can learn the lyrics. And some of those songs have American Sign Language in them. So we'd love to support those who support us. So please go to her website. As Faith and I have said, Songs of Spirit are our favorite. They have chants on them, but she has other CDs that are actual songs, like Lighten Up, and I can't remember all the other ones. But I know you will enjoy it, and these ladies are helping us. So please go find a birthday gift for someone, get a gift for yourself, but definitely look these two ladies up. And then check out our website at www.oasiscsl.org. We know it's out of date. One thing after another keeps happening. For the last 2 months, I've had pneumonia. So I haven't been able to do much. Just breathing has been a challenge. So we know it's out of date, but you can see the events that we've had, so you can get to know your spiritual family. In the meantime, you can find our video sermons on YouTube and our audio sermons on SoundCloud under S. Tucker. So before my voice gives out, I am going to turn this over to Oz.
And I know the presence of God is with us here, now, and always. And that God's presence leads us through the week and into all we see and all we say and all we hear and all we do. I know that we are the thing itself, for the thing itself is all things. I give thanks for these blessings, and I allow them to unroll unimpeded. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. So thank you so much for being here. I know there's 1,000 things you could be doing on a Sunday morning, and we are very blessed that you were here with us. Join us next week and every week at 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time, USA time. And also, next month is our month of love. So we will be talking about love the entire month. This is one of Faith's favorites because there's all these wonderful love songs on Karen Drucker's CDs. And so she was kind of put out by Tina singing the one song that she loves. That's her favorite song of the love songs. And so she said, oh, never mind, it's fine because I get to do the month of love. And I'm like, yep, you do. So she will be selecting love songs from Karen Drucker all month. Woohoo! Anyway, so join us 10:30 a.m. every Sunday, and definitely start with us on the month of love next week. So until then, stay safe. We love you. Bye.